All right, guys, so let's talk about this baby formula shortage, which apparently is really, really bad. So I have a couple things to show you here. Let's start with this New York Post article. Parents stressed over baby formula shortage and its limits. Quote, it's insane. A baby formula shortage has turned into a nationwide food crisis for parents across the country, desperate to feed their infants. Retail outlets have seen a 30% drop in the availability of some popular brands due to supply chain issues, labor shortages, inflation, and safety concerns. In February, I'm going to get to all that, by the way, in a little bit. The way in which we got to this point is astonishing. It's astonishing. It's going to make your blood boil. They say in February, Abbott Nutrition recalled formula made in its Michigan plant and shut down its facilities after 2 infants died and several others were hospitalized after consuming its product. The FDA has not cleared the factory to reopen, and it's unclear when production will be able to resume. Meanwhile, the feeding frenzy has some New Yorkers searching as far as Wisconsin to get formula for their little ones. The Post spoke with several local moms about what they're dealing with and how they're getting by. So this is Sarah Pines, 38, Ramsey, New Jersey. Unable to breastfeed, the New Jersey teacher started her 3-month-old Rachel on powdered formula because it was relatively affordable and easy to find. For months, she's been feeding Enfamil NeuroPro baby formula. That sounds like a workout, like a pre-workout supplement or something. And she initially paid $9 per bottle or $50 for 6 on Amazon. Today, she's paying $11 per bottle if she's lucky. Quote, there was a time when I was down to 1 bottle left. I couldn't find it anywhere. Luckily, my mom had gone to Acme and they had just gotten a shipment in. They let her get 3 cans, Pine said. They'll limit you. There's signs up that you can only get 3 bottles of formula. She attempted to switch to organic formula called Bobby, but got put on a wait list. Quote, this is insane. We're screwed if the shortage keeps going on, and we can't get any. So you got another one here from New Jersey. That's a little cutie pie baby there. The speech pathologist, 5-month-old Brennan, was born with a kidney condition that required a special formula at a cost of $24 per can. After it was recalled in February, doctors advised she switch to Gerber Good Start Gentle, which costs about $22 for a 2-day supply and has similar ingredients, but it's been in very short supply. Quote, it's been hard to find, so I've had to make the switch to Gerber Good Start Gentle Pro, which comes in a much larger container, but the ingredients are completely different than the Gentle version, Bachman lamented. I also considered getting European formula because they're more similar to the Similac PM 6040, but I didn't want to worry about shipping. So, some women can't breastfeed, and some babies, as we're going to get to in a little bit, any sort of like dairy-based formula, they're terribly allergic to. So, in fact, here, let me jump ahead now, but this article has a bunch more examples of how the shortage is severe. It's affecting all these different people. Here's another example in New York, another one in New Jersey. Apparently, this is very northeast focused here. I mean, it's the New York Post, so what do you expect? But anyway, so look at this. So the origin of the baby formula apocalypse was Abbott management's refusal to repair dilapidated and failure-prone drying machines, turning the plant into proverbial petri dishes for Chronobacter because they needed that $5.73 billion for stock buybacks. Holy shit. So, understand what happened here. They cut corners to save money. They basically turned their plant and their mixing machines into like little petri dishes for bacteria that got 2 babies sick and they died. And meanwhile, they were doing a $5.73 billion stock buyback. And then you have, this is explaining it right here. That's incredible. Now, give you another example of just how bad this is. Vanessa says, this is terrifying. I never want to hear about food shortages in communist countries whenever capitalism is criticized. Look at this. For Doris Browning, the specialty formula shortage in Oceanside, California, has been so acute that she considered going to the emergency room just to feed her youngest daughter, Octavia, who is 10 months old and has rare genetic conditions that currently make it impossible for her to eat solid foods. The food allergies she shares with her 21-month-old sister, Tokyo, cause both babies to vomit blood if they ingest dairy products. At one point, Miss Browning said she called all of her daughter's doctors looking for formula, only to be told that none had any. Ms. Fleming had originally tried to breastfeed Lennox, but could not produce enough milk. Then Lennox had severe allergic reactions to 9 different dairy-based formulas. She broke out in rashes, cried constantly, and threw up everything she ate. The only formula Lennox can stomach is a hypoallergenic kind called Pure Amino, which Miss Fleming cannot find anywhere nearby. She has called stores and pharmacies as far away as Florida and Ohio and posted on Facebook in April begging for help. Finally, she found 4 small cans at a formula depot in New York for $245. She's trying to make those cans last 3 weeks instead of the normal 2. This is crazy. This is crazy. So, look, this gets back to a lot of the conversations we've been having on the show over the past however many months. You have to have sufficient regulation so that you don't let these companies run wild and then poison babies. Apparently the regulations are lax, or if they are there, they weren't enforced. There's a conversation to be had about monopolies here. I mean, you should ban stock buybacks too. That's obvious, right? They used to be illegal until like the 1980s, and then I think Reagan reversed it. So ban stock buybacks. One of the things that's, of course, leading to inflation is monopolies. I don't know if that happens to be the case for this particular instance here, but actually like enforcing the antitrust laws, breaking up the monopolies so you bring back competition and lower the prices is a good thing. The supply chains are obviously a huge problem when you talk about inflation, how we're so reliant on other countries, and then as soon as, COVID hit, the pandemic hit, and then it sort of threw a wrench into the supply chain, well, we were asked out for a number of things. So there's like 4, 5, 6 different corporate profits, huge issues that are largely going unaddressed. And the result is, in this instance, a baby formula shortage, which is devastating. Now, I want to show you, at the same time this is going on, here's what we're getting from Congress.
The impact that it is having on food for the world. So when you're home thinking, what is this all about? Just think about, when I was hungry, you fed me, in the Gospel of Matthew. It also is so pleased that Mr. Meeks, the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, was with us because we talked about sanctions impact.
Okay. She's talking about $40 billion that Congress just greenlit to send to Ukraine again. Now, look, I was in favor of arming Ukraine in the wake of Russia invading. They have every right to defend themselves, and so I understand giving them weapons. But I did have a pretty strong caveat attached to that, which is you cannot arm the Azov battalion, who are card-carrying neo-Nazis and who are part of the Ukrainian National Guard. Well, we've sent how many rounds of weapons to Ukraine now? 4? 5? We just sent another $40 billion. By the way, there are no addendums or attachments that say, hey, these weapons or this money can't go to the Azov battalion. They have no idea where this money's going. So, at the same time, we're sending $40 billion to Ukraine, and Nancy Pelosi is citing the gospel to say how necessary it is. We have a baby food shortage here at home, a baby formula shortage, and you have these nightmare stories of people who can't get it. I mean, look, it's just, between all this stuff going on, and then, the NFT and crypto, market crash, we are just getting slapped in the face with late-stage capitalism. And it is truly an astonishing thing to behold. How warped our priorities are, how unable we are to tackle real-world problems here at home. It's really something, man. It's really something. So, for the love of God, maybe, just maybe, don't do the 17th round of weapons and money to Ukraine and tackle the baby formula shortage here at home and one of the other 497,000 problems that we're currently just letting happen. So, there's not much else to say, but this is like watching Hell World unfold.